Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Displaying or suggesting a lack of maturity. Adolescent insecurity. Being of the age 13 through 19. A juvenile between the onset of puberty and maturity. In the state of development between puberty and maturity. Adolescent boys and girls. Relating to or peculiar to or suggestive of an adolescent. Adolescent problems. Displaying or suggesting a lack of maturity. Jejune responses to our problems. Of insufficient quantity to meet a need. The jejune diets of the very poor. Lacking interest or significance or impact. Jejune novel. Displaying or suggesting a lack of maturity. Their behavior was juvenile. A young person, not fully developed. Of or relating to or characteristic of or appropriate for children or young people. Juvenile diabetes. Displaying or suggesting a lack of maturity. Puerile jokes. Of or characteristic of a child. Puerile breathing. Being of the age 13 through 19. Teenage mothers. A juvenile between the onset of puberty and maturity. Being of the age 13 through 19. Teenage mothers. Being of the age 13 through 19. A juvenile between the onset of puberty and maturity. A juvenile between the onset of puberty and maturity. Of birds, not yet having developed feathers. Used of living things, especially persons, in an early period of life or development or growth. Not fully developed or mature, not ripe. Characteristic of a lack of maturity. Immature behavior. Not yet mature. Of crops, harvested at an early stage of development, before complete maturity. Young corn. United States Civil Rights Leader, 1921 to 1971. United States religious leader of the Mormon Church after the assassination of Joseph Smith. He led the Mormon exodus from Illinois to Salt Lake City, Utah, 1801 to 1877. British physicist and Egyptologist. He revived the wave theory of light and proposed a three-component theory of color vision. He also played an important role in deciphering the hieroglyphics on the Rosetta Stone, 1773 to 1829. Suggestive of youth, vigorous and fresh. He is young for his age. United States baseball player and famous pitcher, 1867 to 1955. United States film and television actress, 1913 to 2000. Any immature animal. Young people collectively. Rock music appeals to the young. Used of living things, especially persons, in an early period of life or development or growth. Young people. Not tried or tested by experience. A young hand at plowing. English poet, 1683 to 1765. United States jazz tenor saxophonist, 1909 to 1959. Being in its early stage. A young industry. In the state that someone is in between puberty and adulthood. The time period between the beginning of puberty and adulthood. A young person, not fully developed. A Mexican-American teenager who belongs to a neighborhood gang and who dresses in showy clothes. Rock music with deliberately offensive lyrics expressing anger and social alienation, in part a reaction against progressive rock. A teenager or young adult who is a performer, or enthusiast, of punk rock and a member of the punk youth subculture. Material for starting a fire. An aggressive and violent young criminal. Of very poor quality, flimsy. Substance that smolders when ignited, used to light fuses, especially fireworks. A teenager or young adult who is a performer, or enthusiast, of punk rock and a member of the punk youth subculture. A performer or composer or fan of rock music. A trough that can be rocked back and forth, used by gold miners to shake auriferous earth in water in order to separate the gold. A chair mounted on rockers. A curved support that permits the supported object to rock to and fro. An attendant who rocks a child in a cradle. An ice skate with a curved blade. A teenager or young adult in the 1960s who wore leather jackets and rode motorcycles. A teenager or a young adult male. A teenager or a young adult male. A Palestinian juvenile 10 to 15 years old who fights against the Israelis. Relating to a recently developed fashion or style. Their offices are in a modern skyscraper. A British teenager or young adult in the 1960s, noted for their clothes consciousness and opposition to the rockers.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.